My childhood was actually, I guess, quite calm. You know, I grew up in the suburbs of Orange County, south of Los Angeles. My parents are from Panama, so I had this experience of, you know, growing up as an American kid, but having this feeling of otherness, always feeling like there was something different about me and where my family was from. So listening to salsa music and soca and merengue at home, but then going over to my friend's house and hearing classic rock, and of course, you know, whatever was on the pop stations at the time, sort of gave me a broad experience, musically at least. I started making music as a hip-hop artist, and early on, the earliest lyricists that I would listen to would be UTFO and KRS-One and De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest, and Nas. But then after a little while, I started to pay more attention to other songs and other styles of music, and fell in love with folk music and really appreciate Joni Mitchell and Cat Stevens, James Taylor. I really love, you know, the Stevie Wonders, the Nina Simones, the Otis Reddings and Donny Hathaways, and you know, it just goes on. Of course, John Lennon, Paul McCartney, and Elton John. I mean, there's so many magnificent lyricists out there that have influenced my, I think, my style. I like to write a lot of songs that are stories, and sometimes the stories are my own, and sometimes they are ideas that I've developed, or sometimes they're literal stories that come from friends or people around me. I Need a Dollar is a combination of all those kinds of stories. You know, one in particular is the verse where I'm talking about losing my job, and that was an actual experience that I had. And shortly after I wrote I Need a Dollar, because I was in this position of being, you know, an artist struggling trying to make it, and I was listening to field recordings of chain gang workers that were singing their own blues songs. So I figured I'd write my tale about, you know, losing my job and having to kind of struggle as an artist trying to make it. But you know, other lyrics in that song, Whiskey and Wine, and the other things are closer to experiences that friends around me have had that I kind of gleaned to put into the song. So I tend to borrow from a lot of different places to create songs, but quite often it's really about the story that I'm trying to get out, and it's not necessarily my direct story. The sense of wisdom in my music, I think I would attribute it to my forefathers, the people that I listen to, that I try to live up to, like Marvin Gaye, Bill Withers, Bob Marley, Stevie Wonder. They wrote songs that I felt were timeless, and I just, every song that I write, I want to try to honor that legacy. And with a song like Wake Me Up, my goal was really to just give something that felt a little bit nostalgic, but it also felt urgent and contemporary. So I wrote as much as I could, feeling like I was in middle school, but also feeling like I was at the end of my life, and trying to pack that into one sentiment. The collaboration with Avicii was totally unexpected. I received an email from John Eamon at Interscope. He had been in contact with Avicii's A&R, and Avicii was looking for me to sing a song that was written by Mac Davis. So I went to the studio with Avicii and recorded the song, and after we recorded, we decided, you know, let's try to write something together. And we wrote something that was really strong, but we never finished it. And we were supposed to get together to finish it one night, and Avicii was in a session with Mike Einziger from Incubus. So he was about to leave the session with Mike, but they were in the middle of something really fantastic. They were writing the beginnings of the chord progression for Wake Me Up. And Mike said, well, don't leave this session, just invite Aloe, you know, to finish this with us. So Avicii called me up, and I went over to the studio, and we worked on the song together. And I had come in the studio with lyrics in mind, because I knew that I had the beginnings of something strong, at least for the chorus of Wake Me Up. But once I got there, everything fell into place. The words started just pouring out, and I was able to finish the lyrics and everything in the studio, and we basically finished the song in 4 hours. Going around the world to share my music is the most fantastic experience that I can ever have. I mean, just being able to wake up, to write a song, to share with people that makes them happy is an awesome job. When I'm going to countries where people obviously speak English as a second language, or maybe even a third language or fourth, it's quite interesting to see how they take to my lyrics, how they learn the lyrics and they recite them while I'm on stage. It's fantastic. It makes me recognize the great responsibility that I have, and it's quite an honor, actually, that I have this gift that I'm able to share with people, and I take it very seriously. I want to continue to make people happy, and I want to continue to build a career that in the end people will say, this guy, he wrote good songs and he contributed something to society that's lasting. You know, now that everybody has the ability to do whatever they want themselves, to film themselves, record themselves, and to make it public in a heartbeat, I think it's totally fantastic. I think it levels the playing field, and what matters now is how entertaining your content is. If you have entertaining content, it's going to win. People will share it immediately, and you'll see, you'll reap the benefits immediately. People ask me all the time, well, how can I get in the game? What do I need to do to share my music, or to get to the next level? I say, just first of all, do it for fun, because when you're having fun, then that is translated and communicated through whatever content you're delivering. And once you put it out to the world and actually, deliver it to the world for free, give it to people so they can hear it and have a chance to experience it. And if they love it enough, they'll fall in love with you and what you're able to bring them, and they will value you enough to pay for your content eventually, or at least you'll be able to figure out ways to make a living off of what you love to do. But I think it's fantastic. Next for Aloe Blacc is definitely a full-length release, debut major label release called Lift Your Spirit on Interscope Records. I've filled it with fantastic songs that I'm in love with, and a whole bunch of other songs that couldn't make the cut because I wanted to not put too many songs on the album. So I'm going to also be working with several other artists. My band members are all fantastic musicians, and I'm going to be helping them produce their works and continue to do as much as I can artistically, hopefully telling stories in front of the camera as an actor at some point.